Hello, guys. I literally feel so excited today. I don't know what it is. I feel high vibes, and I want to share that energy with you. So, take some of that, and let's get into today's video. First of all, welcome back to Authentically Rubes. Welcome into the space if you are new here. We are all about dancing through life's biggest emotions. My name is Ruby, and I'm here to guide you through reconnecting your mind body connection and just enjoying your day to day life so much more. Because life should be about having fun and expressing your true, authentic self that wants to come through. So, if that is what you are wanting to do more of, if that is what you are all about, please come and join us. I'm so grateful to have you here. Let's get into it. So, today I want to talk about perfectionism. I want to talk about how I'm recovering from being a perfectionist, from being a complete control freak for basically all of my life, I would say. And I think just naturally having overthinking tendencies and then experiencing anxiety in my life just added so much to these things. Because what really is perfectionism and wanting to control everything is just wanting to feel safe. It's fear of the unknown. It's really just fear leading the way and guiding you. When, on the other hand, if you let your heart and your soul and your intuition guide you, that's where you truly can experience the joy and the fun and the pleasure within life, and how you can actually let go of how you think everything needs to happen and just embrace the flow of what is actually going on around you. What do you intentionally and consciously want to shift from there? And what are things that you just need to let yourself let go of because you truly have no control over it? It's the honest truth of other people, of how others are acting, reacting, of different things happening in the world. The best thing that we can do for ourselves, I have learned, is to focus on our own vibration, our own frequency, our own inner world and feelings. And then it becomes so much easier to embrace all the other things that are going on around us, especially other people. I feel like that is a huge one that I've been stuck in before, is wanting to control how other people react and being triggered by other people, when really, like, it's not my job to do that. It's not my job to control every single thing around me. Like, yes, we're co-creating with the universe, and it's really magical and beautiful and exciting to bring those aspects into your life and see how, like, all the manifestation and different ways that you have power over what you experience. But when you're trying to control and micromanage every little aspect of your life, it can honestly be so overwhelming. It can feel like a lot. And I know that I've put a lot of pressure on myself, being like, oh, well, I created this. Like, internally, I created this, and now I'm experiencing it outside of me, and now I'm being hard on myself, and now I'm upset, and how do I change this? And blah, 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 blah. So, we're going to talk through that today. So, you don't have to feel like that, because I have felt like that probably way too many times than I should have. And I just wanted to make this video, honestly, to help support you through that, to help you recover from being a perfectionist, or maybe get you to the point where you can not even need to recover and just fully shift your path into a different direction. But also, if this sounds exactly like yourself and like tendencies you have done, like, please know there is nothing wrong with that. I feel like society today, especially with social media, it's so easy to fall into these habits and to become prey to the perfectionism and control freak tendencies. The first thing really is self awareness when it comes to this. It's on being really honest with yourself, which can be kind of scary, but once you're honest with yourself, like, so there's so much more room for energy to flow, because you're like, okay, I have noticed this, I have acknowledged it, and I swear that just starts opening the doors to different ways of doing and thinking and being. You're actually taking that time intentionally to be like, okay, what is actually supporting me? what maybe is something that isn't really supporting me. And this may seem like something so small, just the acknowledgement, but it's the first and most crucial step is being aware of what's going on within you, being aware of how you react to situations, how you respond to situations. Honestly, like for myself, I've had so many like in my mind about this exact situation because I'll like have something happen in my life and I'm like, oh my God, I'm really trying to control that. Like, I'm going to use the job that I just put my 2 weeks in at. Shout out to myself for doing that. I'm a little terrified and have no other plan right now, but here we are. And I'm proud of myself for that because it just wasn't aligning with me anymore. But at the job that I used to work, I was a server and I would try to control everything. My people pleasing and perfectionism came out so hard because I wanted to get everything for everyone at the exact same time. If someone asked me for salt at one table, I'd be like, I need to get that instantly. If someone's asking me for the bill, I'd be like, I gotta get there as soon as I can. And I would be rushing around and I would feel stressed and I would feel so out of control that I'd want to just try to get in control, but there was just so much going on that I feel like I wasn't even thinking straight, and my nervous system would just feel so out of whack. And if anyone has been a server before, you know what I mean. Like, there's, I think multitasking can be good, but I feel like serving is a type of multitasking where you either learn so much about yourself and you grow so much and you find a way that really works for you, or it just fully makes you crumble. So, for the first, I'd say, year of serving, I felt like a lot of ups and downs with that. And then I had a point where I just did managing for a while. I didn't serve anymore. And then I got back into it like 6 months later, and it felt so horrible. I tried to micromanage every single aspect. I was trying to control all of the outcomes of every single table. I was so concerned about what they thought of me, what they thought of their experience, that I feel like my heart was just not in it. I didn't actually make time for connecting with people. I didn't like check in with myself in those moments. And I would just feel so terrible. And I would dread going to all of my shifts because of it. And then, like I said, the mind blowing thing for myself, I was listening to a Jake Shane podcast. I'm going to see him next week too. And I'm so excited in Vancouver. Me and my sister are going together. I know we're going to have like the best time ever and laugh the hardest we probably have in a while. So I'm super pumped for that. He's someone I would love to podcast with in the future, putting that out there. Put me on Therapist. But I heard Mel Robbins on his podcast, and I'm gonna be so for real. I overlooked the let them theory completely. I was like, that sounds like super simple. I don't get why there's a book about it. Like, it's just like a saying, like, let them. How is that really supportive? And yes, I was a skeptic about that one. But when I listened to the podcast with Jake and Mel, I was like, oh my God, okay, there's something to this. And I ate my words on that one. I was like, I'm going to try this at my next shift. I'm going to see how it goes. And you can really use it in any aspect of life where you just feel like you don't have control, especially at a job where you're working for other people, where they're calling the shots, or just really anywhere where that applies within your life. So I like challenged myself to use it at a shift. I would maybe like make a little mess up. Like I'd be like, "Oh shoot, I forgot to bring them hot sauce," or something like that. And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, no, they're going to think like I suck now. They're going to think I'm a bad server. Like maybe they won't tip me as well. Maybe they won't like me as much." And I'm like, "Oh, but I've been doing my best and I want them to like me." And all that simply went out the window and I was like, "Well, let them. Like you just forgot hot sauce. Like that's okay. You had like 10 other things that were needing to do at the time, and sometimes one just slips through and that's okay." And oh my gosh, what a freeing thing that was. Like using the let them theory, recovering from being a perfectionist has helped me so much more than I ever thought. And I literally only listened to this episode like 2 weeks ago, and it's been so helpful. But yeah, I just wanted to add that piece in because it's been so powerful for myself of letting go of needing to be this perfect person and needing people to have this perfect view of myself. Like, it's such BS. And I think like my job is just what really challenged me the most with it, of just wanting to be liked and wanting people to think I'm valuable, when really all of these things that we just want to feel from other people is things that we just need to start like pouring into ourselves about. I'm like, I don't need other people to think I'm valuable. I need to start believing I'm valuable. That's one of my biggest affirmations that I say into my mirror now. I look into my eyes. I'm like, you are so valuable. Like, I am so valuable. And so are you. Listening to this right now, like, everything is perception. And the more that we can hype ourselves up and the more that we can embrace the imperfection of life and say let them and say fuck it, and it doesn't mean don't try, it doesn't mean just let things go wrong, because you don't have to do that, but you can shift how you see things. You can shift how you are perceiving these outcomes, how you're perceiving these situations. And it's not an excuse to be a bad person. But I think there's such a difference between not trying versus knowing you are doing your best. But sometimes other people aren't going to acknowledge that. You're going to make one tiny mistake and they're just going to think you're like that forever. Or maybe they won't. Like, you never really know. But as long as you know, like, hey, I really did do my best today. And that's all that matters. And sometimes our best looks different on different days. Sometimes we have zero energy, especially all the females who are watching, who are on our 28-day cycle. Sometimes you are in a luteal phase and your energy is freaking zero. So, your best might look different during like an ovulation phase. Like, it's so different. Even if you go to, like, I'll keep going my work references. If you keep going to, if you're going to like a job all day and it's the end of the week and it's your last day and you've worked these long hours and you're tired and you still need to like show up to a commitment you made, like even just showing up, maybe that's your best. It's just taking away all these preconceived notions and how we think everything has to look, and embracing the actual way that it happens and embracing the sudden changes. Like, oh my gosh, sudden change is something I have hated my life as a child. My parents like had their freaking hands full, because every time they were like, "Oh, we're going to go like go to this park that we've never been to, or we're going to go try this new activity." I would like have a meltdown. I'd be like, I do not want to go. I think I just didn't feel safe in the unknown, and everything that I had never tried before, like my parents had to drag me like kicking and screaming to it, and I kind of feel bad for them now looking back. But like every time, and my parents would always say this, every time they took me somewhere I didn't want to go, that I didn't know what it was going to be like, I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, I always had a good time. I always had the best time. And they would be like, "Oh my gosh, why did you have that full breakdown when things are great now?" And then they'd always be like, see, it's fine." And that would just annoy me, to be honest, when I was younger. But it's so true though. Like, we think we know how things are going to be. I think just such a great lesson in life is learning to embrace the unknown, learning to embrace change, because life isn't linear. There's so many random things that pop up all around us, and we don't really know what's going to happen. Like right now, as I said before, I put in my 2 weeks at my job and I have no plan. And I'm like, wow, this is like my greatest test in trusting the unknown ever. And I'm just turning it into being something fun and exciting, and like, how can I like make this a game? How can I manifest this amazing new aligned job in the next 2 weeks and make it fun and not need a plan? But yeah, it's creating like a relationship with that aspect of life. And like, if you feel scared or you feel unsure, when moments like that come up, when things that are not expected come up, like, a big thing for myself is just always reminding myself that I'm safe, because a lot of the time we feel scared because we don't feel safe. We feel scared of not knowing what's going to happen, especially if we had things in our childhoods that were sudden changes or things that we didn't expect that just kind of lodge that fear within us. And what I love to do is just put a hand on my heart, close my eyes, and just tell myself, like, I'm here for you. I love you. You are safe. And I've got your back. And just telling yourself you're safe in those moments is so simple, but it's so impactful too. And just anything you can do to support your nervous system in those times of change, of going out of your comfort zone, of shit just hitting the fan and you don't know what's going on, and just taking some deep breaths and maybe just saying to yourself, like, I love you, I'm here for you, is so, so powerful. And even if you end up reacting poorly, even if you end up having a mental breakdown, because I have been there so many times. I had a mental breakdown at work like 2 weeks ago. So, like, no one's perfect. You get that little joke there? Exactly. Exactly. That's the whole point of today, is that sometimes I even have moments where I'm like, oh my God, why did I react that way? Why did I do things that way? But the more that we're like hard on ourselves for that and criticize ourselves for that, like, we just feel worse. The more that we can actually like nurture ourselves and remind ourselves of who we are and have a little practice that supports you with coming back to yourself and coming back to the present moment, because it's so easy to get caught up in everything else that's going on around you. Like, I recommend to anyone just taking some deep breaths. Like, first take 3 deep breaths and then decide what you're going to do from there. Or go mind dump it out into a voice note, go journal it out, go tell someone about it, and just get it all out of you. And then move your body too. Do some dancing, do some jumping, go scream in your car, go hit your pillow against your bed. Like, really, any type of healthy expression is so helpful when you're recovering from wanting to control everything, from wanting everything to be perfect. I think the beautiful thing of life is finding out that everything will never be perfect, that you will never be perfect, that life will never be perfect. And it's finding different ways to accept that. And I think accepting all of yourself as these different parts come up and show themselves, whether you like them or not, just really acknowledging and doing your best to accept them and love them to the best of your ability. It really impacts just accepting things that really are out of our control, too. I think another thing that people, especially myself in the past, experience is not wanting to be seen as the imperfect version of themselves. And I think that's what's really helped to like set me free from that, is sharing on social media in my most authentic way, sharing me crying, sharing me having a mental breakdown, sharing me rage dancing, like sharing me doing just weird shit, to be honest, that I probably wouldn't want anyone to actually see me doing, but just sharing what I'm authentically going through, what I'm learning, what is going on in my life, because it's really helped me to embrace being that person. It's really helped me to embody being my most authentic self in person too, because I share it online and I'm like, oh, well, now people just like see me like that. So now I can just be that version of myself all the time. And it's kind of weird. It gave me like this like approval within myself to just really let the authenticity take the wheel. And I highly recommend it. Like, you don't have to obviously go share online if that's not your thing, but finding some sort of way to express your authenticity, because authenticity is imperfect within itself. So finding a way to express that makes you feel really connected to yourself, that makes you feel peaceful and grounded and present too. Like, it could be something artistic, it could be musical, it could be dancing as well, because that's one of my favorite things that I do that always helps me to feel a little bit better every single time I do it. It could also be writing too, like anything that just wants to come through you, that you feel the soul calling to put out there. And you don't necessarily even have to share it with other people. I just think there's something really empowering about sharing it with other people, because like, you're sharing exactly who you are. You're putting all your cards on the table, and you don't know if people are going to like it or not, if people are going to understand it or not, but I think that's the most like courageous thing that you can do is share just more of who you are because it's so empowering for yourself and you'll feel so proud of yourself that eventually those feelings of proudness will turn into more acceptance and more love for yourself, and eventually that outgrows what you think everyone else is going to think of you. Also, this just reminds me of the quote from Sex and the City, the iconic line from Samantha where she says, "If I worried about what every bitch in New York thought about me, I would never leave the house." And it's so freaking accurate. It's something that I, especially in high school, was worried so much about what other people would think about me, about how I was showing up, about how things around me would happen, and I felt like I just didn't deal with the chaos. But that's where our courage comes in. That's where our power comes in. Like, it's so profound to have a practice where you can connect with yourself, where you can dive a little bit deeper with yourself and create more of a loving and accepting relationship with yourself. And I always recommend just the most simple things ever because I like things simple and practical because I am a practical gal. So, what I would say is like my top three things to help you connect with yourself more so you can love and accept yourself more. And it helps you to love and accept life and the world around you too, and not care as much what anyone or anything may perceive you as. First one, having at least 10 minutes of just you time every single day where you're not on your phone, you're not watching something, you're not listening to something. Just at least 10 minutes just devoted to you and only you, because like like all relationships, it requires time and energy and nurturing, just how it'd be with a friend and you getting closer and them eventually becoming your best friend. It's basically like becoming your own best friend and showing up for you in the way that you would show up for a friend or a family member that you love so much. But yeah, taking those 10 minutes, you can do whatever you want in those 10 minutes. You can do literally nothing. You can just sit there, you can close your eyes, you can meditate, you can journal, you can look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself. I love doing that. I personally love talking to myself in the mirror, being super honest with myself. Sometimes I'll just like be really stuck in that perfectionism or control and feel really scared, and I'll just talk to myself and say like, "Hey, I'm feeling this way." And I'll start just reassuring myself and nurturing myself from that. I feel like that's where people can get kind of stuck, is just getting stuck in the acknowledging of what's going wrong, but then not actually consciously shifting that into, okay, but what's actually working out in my favor that I'm not necessarily seeing? What do I need to be reminded of right now? Because if we just focus on things that we think are just going wrong all the time, that's exactly what we're going to keep experiencing. So we do have to do our best to consciously make that little shift. And honestly, it's gotten so much easier over time for myself to do that, that I feel like I naturally just shift into, okay, but this is working out for me because of this. And I remember that I am so powerful and I'm so valuable and I am so enough as I am. So, this situation that you're so worried about isn't really something that needs to be worried about. And it kind of just helps me like get my upward spiral going versus the downward spiral that I created with my own thoughts and my own words and with how I show up too. It sounds really simple and it honestly really is. It just takes some practice. Then the second thing that I recommend is doing some type of movement, because I find that people who are really controlling or want everything to be perfect are very in their heads, can tend to be overthinkers. Their mind body connection may need a little love, a little support. I definitely know that mine did and sometimes still does. So, doing something that gets you in your body and out of your head is so, so supportive. And it doesn't even have to be like going to the gym or anything. It can be dancing, it can be doing jumping jacks, it can be going for a walk, it can be doing some stretching, some yoga, a workout class. It can be going to the gym if you want it to be, but I just want to share that there's so many other types of movement too. It doesn't have to just look a certain way. And it can be like for 5 minutes too. It doesn't have to be anything crazy either. It's just noticing those moments where you're like, okay, I'm just going in circles in my head and I'm absolutely overthinking this. And it's making me feel a way that I don't necessarily want to feel right now. And acknowledging that first, because we don't bypass here. We acknowledge our feelings because we're strong and we're brave and we can do anything. And then we do some movement to help our body recalibrate and reset so we can shift that energy into something that is more supportive for ourselves. And we can also release that pent up energy that is causing us to think, feel, and act in the way that we are subconsciously. So it gives us more space for new flowing energy where we can feel more clear, more present, and just a lot more honest and loving and understanding with ourselves. And then the third thing that I think is really, really helpful, but also can be the most scary is just doing more things that are out of your comfort zone or that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. We can't stay in our comfort zones forever. That's not how we learn, that's not how we grow. And I think a big part of overcoming perfectionism is putting yourself in more situations where you know that it's not going to be perfect. Honestly, just making it kind of more like a game and a fun challenge to yourself rather than being like, I have to go out of my comfort zone. Because I used to be so serious about it. I'd be like, I must do more things that scare me. But it should be things that you actually think are exciting, not just things that like scare you in general. Because I think you should still follow the things that are exciting and that you're curious about. Because I think that always takes you down a really magical path that the universe is just laying down with you brick by brick. I'm thinking of the yellow brick road right now. How good was Wicked? Just had to put that out there. I'm so excited for the next one. Like, I don't want to skip summer, but like, I would skip summer to have the new Wicked movie out already because it's coming out in November. But anyways, got off track. It's literally my favorite movie right now. But, anyways, now that we have gone through all of that, and if you are thinking to yourself, my goodness, this sounds like me, I I get you, and I am right here with you. And I want you to know that you are really not alone. So many of us experience this. I want to just invite yourself to be super honest with yourself right now and just to ask yourself, like, where are you trying to be perfect in your life right now? Where do you notice the perfectionism tendencies coming up? Where do you feel like you're trying to control? What area do you feel like you're trying to control a lot of in your life? And I want you to just think about one little action step, one little inspired action that you can take today. Oh my gosh, I just saw a dragonfly. Wait, that was so cool. Anyways, one inspired action step that you can take today to try out one of these ways of connecting to yourself and really just accepting more of you in a more nurturing and loving way that eventually will become unconditional. That is my goal. And I also just want to tell you that you are so brave for letting yourself be seen as your most authentic self. Like, it can honestly sometimes be a little bit tricky. It's not always the easiest path, but the more that you are your true self, the more that you enjoy your life. And isn't that the whole reason why we are here? Like, we're not here to live for other people, we're here to live for ourselves and to express what our souls want to express and let that just live through us. And it makes me like so excited to think about because I just think of everyone's beautiful light just shining out of them. And there's nothing I want more than for you to shine your light, live in your fun frequency, and have your most fulfilling life. I would love to know if this resonated with you today. I would love to hear what you thought about it. I would love to hear different wins that you've had in your life with overcoming perfectionism and maybe even challenges too. I'm more than happy to chat about it more and to support you in any way that I can. So, thank you so much for listening today. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. And also let me know in the comments any other topics that are on your mind that you want to hear about, that you want to dive deeper into. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. You deserve it. You are the magic, and I will see you next week. Bye.